The last few years has seen the price of new games skyrocket, and it can be galling to watch all of your dough vanish with a single $70 purchase. Thankfully, there's a whole spectrum of great games that cost just a tiny fraction of that total. We can fill your library with bangers, without emptying your wallet in the process.
Hold it! Max, Jesus, you almost gave me a heart attack! I nearly shot you!
Then you can save your money for a brand new Astro A50X gaming headset, a New Year's treat from you to you. Anyway, let's jump into these affordable games.
So much for being subtle.
Did you know you can pick up this solo shooter for pennies on Steam? Released in 2001, Return to Castle Wolfenstein marks a transition point in the FPS genre.
Where did they all come from?
Don't ask me, no one ever tells me anything.
In its early levels, the castle corridors and secret rooms recall Doom and Quake. But later on, you'll step outside into the German countryside, where you can draw on Far Cry-style stealth and freedom of approach. Just remember to take your time clearing out the ruined homes of Kugelstadt. Your enemies don't make a habit of missing.
Well done, Motherhead. What is the condition of your passenger? All things considered, the passenger is doing fine. Repeat, the passenger is doing fine. Motherhen out.
If you prefer a little more leeway in the dodging department, you can't do better than Max Payne. Developed in the aftermath of The Matrix, it expertly captured the slow-motion bullet ballet of the Wachowskis. Better still, it did so against the backdrop of New York in winter, an eerie den of drug lords blanketed in snow. Maybe you recognize the face plastered across Max's character model. That's Sam Lake, creative director of Remedy Entertainment. He also appears in Alan Wake 2 as an FBI agent, and a backstory which may or may not have been written by Alan Wake himself.
I'm Alex Casey. I'm looking into a murder.
There are layers to this stuff, you know?
They were all dead. The final gunshot was an exclamation mark to everything that had led to this point. I released my finger from the trigger, and then it was over.
For giblets as far as the level can render, why not play Doom? The game that defined the FPS genre just turned 30, and somehow remains immune to the ravages of time. It's still just as much fun to run through a pinky with a machine gun as it was when Wakefield were at number 1. What's more, Doom has long been a platform for modding, which means that when you buy it, you're also getting access to countless acclaimed shooters and strange experiments. A number of the best are now easily accessible via Doom's main menu, including new levels from original designer John Romero. When a new game from the co-creator of Fable comes out, you expect to hear about it. But Moonring has flown under the radar. Partly that's because it's a small project, rather than a AAA reboot like the one Microsoft is making.
Let's do it.
Instead of looking to Fable for inspiration, Moonring returns to the tile-based RPGs of the 1980s. It leans on primitive, neon-coloured art to draw an entire open world ripe for exploration. Creator Dean Carter has released the whole thing on Steam for free. Why? In his words, because life is hard. COVID sucked, everyone's poor and stressed. Rather than charge a fee, he's taking the good karma instead. Vampire Survivors is similarly a lo-fi affair. But like Moonring, its user reviews are overwhelmingly positive on Steam. That's because fans have fallen in love with its mixture of casual and hardcore elements. The stuff that makes Vampire Survivors both easy to pick up and very hard to put down. Hell has emptied out, and all the devils are throwing themselves into your firing line. You don't even need to hold down the trigger. Your weapons fire automatically, so you only need to steer. Despite that simplicity, it's a constant struggle to stay above water, as a flood of evil invades your screen. It's also a tactical puzzle to blend complementary gear as your loadout evolves. This game is basically like Blood is to Vampires, surprisingly Moorish. When it comes to hordes of enemies though, you simply can't beat Orcs Must Die.
Those spikes are shiny!
The first entry in this series nailed the combination of third-person action and tower defense better than any game since. So while you're sinking crossbow bolts into oncoming trolls, you're also using half your brain to plan out a gauntlet of traps that will earn you a high score. It's not enough to simply set the orcs on fire and then slice at them with swinging maces. You'll also want to tar them first, and then plant blades on the wall that will slice them up while they're stuck. If a trap is nice, why not use it twice?
So now the task of defending this fortress falls to my apprentice. That's it then. The world is doomed.
Hear that angry buzzing noise? is the sound of flies that won't be flying freely out of your empty wallet in a cartoonish metaphor for losing all of your money. Instead, you'll be gaming away, content in the knowledge that your cash sits snugly in your pocket. If we've been of assistance, all we ask in return is a like. For more videos like this one, don't forget to subscribe to Logitech G and hit that bell.
The word was out. A deadly virus released into the city's corrupt circulatory system. Something wicked this way comes. Max Payne at large.